We're going to wrap this up. We've got another breakout coming, but not until we take a great look into the fascinating world of the business of experiences. And to close out this session, please welcome Danny Altamar, Club Director at Sight On Sports.
Oh, yeah. Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? All right. Well, my name is Danny, and I'm going to be your MC for this beautiful occasion tonight, as we are here to celebrate the marriage of Gabriella and Anthony. Now, all of you are like, what the hell are you talking about? But that's the very reason why I'm on this stage today. I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family as a DJ, as an MC. That's me right there, DJing a Sweet 16. I also grew up in a family where we had a close family friend who was in the fashion business. So I, at the age of 17, was a private fashion buyer. I attended New York International Bridal Fashion Week, which was incredible, because here I am as a 17-year-old boy walking through the aisle, and people are looking at me like, hey, your son's walking away from you, ma'am. And they're like, no, he's the guy you're going to talk to negotiate the contract. And so that was kind of cool. But the reason we're here to talk to you guys is about how do you create better experiences within your club. And so I guess what I should say is, what is an experience? An experience is moments of connection, learning something new, feeling seen and supported, right? So sharing memories with families, peers, coaches. And when we think about how do we create an experience, I like to touch upon the 3 E's: the environment, emotion, and engagement of the event that you're running, right? That's how we create the overall experience. And at a simplistic level for us as sport operators, most of the time, I'm sure when we talk to athletes and families, we're talking about, hey, come to my club, I'm going to train you to reach the next level, right? And what's that next level? College. And so in order to enhance our experience at the club level, I always say it's better to replicate what the college experience is, right? Because that's what our athletes are looking for, that college experience. And so if we take a look at social media, it's a huge way, and it's great because it's free to enhance our athlete experience, right? So that means, let's say Instagram, posting, where are your teams traveling this weekend? Team achievements, what'd you guys win? But also making sure that you're engaging with them on these social media platforms, right? Stories are a great way to engage with your athletes and their families. Instead of just putting a post up, why don't you add a question, right? Hey, what tournament are you looking forward to most this year? That's a great question to ask before you have tryouts, because you're engaging in your clientele. They look at you and say, wow, this organization actually wants to know what I want out of them, and they're just not telling me what they want me to do. Right, so these are some great free ways to enhance your experience. TikTok is also a great experience for these athletes. For anybody who's in the volleyball space in this room, you know how incredibly difficult it is to walk through a convention center trying to dodge teenage athletes making TikToks all over the place, right? It's just what they love to do. And so I think engaging in them and their trends is important for enhancing the overall athlete experience. And so some trends that you can do, and what we like to do at our club, is make TikToks or little reels about how well do teammates know each other, right? So you sit 2 teammates next to each other, and how well do you know each other? How well do you know the coach? And it's not only about that 8 or 10, 15-second clip, but it's about the process that happens during that time, right? It gives you a time to understand your athletes, right? Ask them questions that you may just not want to walk up to them and say, hey, what's your favorite movie, right? That's probably not a random question you'd ask them. But throughout the process of filming these TikToks or putting interactions on Instagram, it gives you a better understanding of your base. Another way of enhancing your experience throughout the club are theme days. We do it all the time, whether it's for holidays. Sometimes we have dress up as your coach day, which gets really funny. Coaches sometimes get offended by what the kids wear, but it's fun, right? It gives them a way to humanize yourselves. And that's what I think is a missing piece. As youth sports grow and become more corporate, parents want to know that we're human too, that we're just not here to make a transactional relationship. And that's really important in youth sports, is that we remove that element. We don't want a parent to come into the gym and just be like, here's X amount of money, now train my kid, and now I'm never going to talk to you for the rest of the season, right? It's important that we engage with them at multiple levels. Another program that we have at our club is our Big Sister Mentor program. We take a lot of the older kids and we'll put them with our youth program. So right here we have our 18th team, our 12th team last year. So a fun activity we did with them was we actually printed out the tryout pictures for when the 18 players came in for the first year with our club. And then we had our young kids go up to them and made them sign it. And it was hysterical because a lot of the older kids were like, oh my God, I look horrible. But again, it's just a funny way, and it's an overall experience. But we're bridging the gap between our older kids and our younger kids, right? our 18th players may not see a 12-year-old and want to engage in a conversation, right? There's differences there. But by bringing them together, we allow the older kids to experience what it is to be a mentor, what it is to be a leader. And those are the life skills that we have to try to encourage our athletes to learn throughout our process. My pride and joy of Side Out Sports is our club banquet that we host at the end of the year. And being in the event space as an MC, as a DJ, I was a wedding designer, I organized corporate events. This was something that I had strived to done for multiple years. And every year it got bigger. The best thing about it is every kid is included, right? We cover every single athlete in our club. We never want any athlete to feel that the celebration is only owed to somebody who can afford a ticket to a banquet. And so every athlete comes. I pretty much run it like a Sweet 16, right? So we have a DJ. Every year we have a surprise element. So this year we had the light up robots that came out and danced with the kids on the dance floor. Parents obviously love it. We actually had over 800 people attend our banquet this past year, and over 50% of them were parents, grandparents, siblings, aunts, and uncles. And so we want to make sure that our families aren't just spectators on the court, but that they're our supporters, right? We want to make sure that that relationship is combined, because at the end of the day, when we have to have tough conversations with our families about playing time, about why they didn't make a team, that relationship has now made that conversation easier. They realize that you are investing back in their athlete, right? A lot of times as coaches, we talk about, hey, buy into our system. But at some point, we have to show the parents that we are buying into their athletes. And by creating better experiences throughout the club, we're able to ensure that those relationships are maintained long term. We never want a kid to go through 4 or 5 years of our club and just learn about, I won a couple of tournaments and I lost a couple of tournaments. We want them to go through it knowing the friendships that they've made, the lifelong connections that they've made with their coaches, but also the life skills that they've learned, which is why we've implemented that Big Sister program, because a lot of our players will graduate, they'll go to college, they'll come back in the summer and go, hey, coach, I want to get back and coach that youth team again. And so you're creating a lifelong fan and a brand supporter throughout this experience. So with that, I just want to talk about a couple things here. I think it's important, like I said, that we invest back in our athletes' experience. It's not about wins and losses, right? It's about the emotions that we've helped them gain throughout this time, how we help them deal with failures. And 73% of sports spending goes towards programs perceived as developmental and positive, right? That was a study done by the Sports Journal in 2024. As I mentioned, it's all about the why, right? Removing the transactional relationship element from youth sports, I think, is big. Youth sports costs are going up, expenses are going up, and we need to provide something outside of the field. Buying into your athletes, making difficult conversations easier, having support of the parents. Like I said, you don't want your parents to just be spectators, you want them to be lifelong supporters. Which is why I always revert back to a famous quote by Maya Angelou. People will forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And my last important message to everybody here is that we as sports youth operators shape the way young athletes view teamwork, leadership, failure, but most importantly, how they view themselves. So we have to be able to seize the opportunity to create memories and not just outcomes. Because in the end, we aren't just building athletes, we're building people. And when we do it right, everybody wins. The kids, the family, and the business. Thank you.
Woo! I mean, I'm inspired. Thank you. So nice to meet you. Let's hear it for all of our speakers. Such great messages.